This is the Bear Country Outdoors Barely a Podcast. I'm your host, Doug Joyce, and with me is James Forsland and Chris Cantrell. Thanks for joining. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We're doing another podcast. It's been a couple weeks. Chris went on a vacation over in Montana. James has been over in Idaho this last weekend, and I got to go up in the mountains for a little bit and got to see a couple bears. Was hoping to see some mountain goats, but found some snow, got up to a lake, and tried to get some mountain legs underneath myself for this upcoming season.
Yeah, you guys were up in the high country, right?
Yeah, we got up into the Alpine. We got high enough to where we got into the Alpine berries. The water was still cold. We went to a lake. I'm going to keep it under wraps because we don't want anyone knowing where we saw the giant bear.
Yeah, that we just posted on the
Instagrams.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a cool hike. It wasn't really too far. It was pretty steep. The lake was still frozen over. Still had a bunch of ice pack up there. But it was a really enjoyable hike.
When you saw that bear, again. How far away was it?
Oh, it was like on the mountain across from us, basically. So probably a mile. And you could see it with a naked eye. That's how big it was.
If you follow us on Instagram, check out that reel. It's a dandy bear.
Yeah, it's a dandy bear.
And he's already mowing down on blueberries, and they just started popping up.
Green.
Yeah. They were just starting to turn color.
Mm-hmm.
Like just a tiny little bit, but I don't think that bear cared.
No, dude. They'll start mowing on when they're green even.
Yeah, as soon as they start showing up, they're going to start eating those berries.
They'll eat sour berries no matter what.
Perfect environment up there for them. Tons of water, tons of food, you know. Hoping maybe we can get up there this fall and get that guy. It's going to be a tough one, but...
Till season opens?
3.
Yeah.
3 weeks.
Sorry, I'm thinking when I'm leaving.
Actually, probably less than 3 now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, it's 3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
3 weeks
August 1st.
Yeah.
I'm planning on going out and hunting opening day, hopefully. And I think Doug's probably going to hunt at least that weekend.
I'll be hunting that weekend for sure.
Yeah.
Either if it's on the west side or if it's on the east side. I haven't made up my mind yet.
We got so many hunts planned this year.
And then once it starts, it's all hell's going to break loose.
Yeah, basically we're rolling into bear hunts, more bear hunts. Then Chris is going to Africa. And then we got
elk hunting and
deer hunting, and then rolling into one elk and deer hunt after another,
and then
all the way through November.
You guys are off to Idaho and
we got
Montana and
Idaho deer tag. And
if you guys could make
Montana
that all happen, you said you're going to Alaska.
Mm-hmm. And I still have to build us rifles.
So much to do.
Which we should be getting going on soon.
So I spoke with Bill at Benchmark. He was a super great guy. And they had a little software snafu, but they hustling for us. And like we were saying, we got 3 weeks for the opener. And we have all the components minus the barrel blanks. So they have some carbon fiber blanks for us, which are going to be sweet, but they're blanks. So I have to machine them, into guns. So that's not a super quick process. But I'm hoping, Bill said, that potentially we get them tomorrow. So, yeah.
Well, that would be exciting.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Then we're going to be doing these builds.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be all hands on deck.
Yeah, we're going to have to hustle to get them all put together, and then finally get them sighted in and get a load developed of some sort. Or
for some ammo that shoots out of them. Or
some factory ammo that shoots decent. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot. Luckily, we're pretty caught up in the shop. Cliff and Elaine are back and working full tilt there. We got one custom build to wrap up and a 7 SOM, which is going to be kind of cool. So that's the first short action. Well, we do a lot of 6.5 PRCs, but as far as Magnum cartridges go, we've never done a Magnum 7. So that 7 SOM is it's a short action ultra mag.
Dude, I'm kind of interested in that cartridge.
It's pretty neat, yeah. So we'll see how that turns out. But then I got the 300 PRCs for us.
Huh?
Yeah, so it's going to be
Still got some time.
it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work. Luckily, we got some freaking sweet components.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just makes it better.
The top of the line.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Get
It's
all
gonna be
this
so
sweet
cool.
stuff to put
These
together.
I'm just excited to use that rifle this season. I mean,
Yeah.
whenever we get it done, we get it done. But I can't wait to shoot something with it. I can't wait to just shoot it in general
Yeah.
and practice some long range stuff and get used to shooting that
Yeah, we'll
MDT.
definitely,
Yeah.
we'll definitely have to go do some long range stuff.
Plus, I'm excited for Doug to miss a bunch of work to stand over my shoulder and film me building these rifles.
Oh yeah,
And we're going to have a super, I think it's going to be really cool having a build series on YouTube. Hopefully it doesn't get us any more shadow banned than we already are. But,
I don't know if that can happen.
you know, just like the ins and outs of taking all these components and machining them into like a super accurate long range.
And no one else has really done this, right?
Not that I've seen. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen people do builds and stuff, but nothing like a long range bolt action rifle. No.
Yeah.
I think it's, you know, there's a
It's
lot
probably
of parts
been
and
done.
pieces that you can just buy or put together or something like that. But,
Yeah,
you
or
know,
one company does it with their stuff. This
Yeah.
is, you know, a handful of different companies and their awesome components put into one
it's pretty,
awesome gun.
yeah,
gonna
pretty
be
fun.
awesome.
Like you're saying, the different components, because you get to pick the best of the best, right?
Right.
You know,
Which is
like-
what we did.
Yeah, it's like when people talk about like pickup trucks, like, oh, you know, I wish I had, you know, the Ford this and the Chevy this and the Dodge this, and like, so you got to take all those components and be like, hey, I'm going to build me a
Right.
Frankenstein, and it's going to be badass.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. I'm
we
excited.
were super fortunate and blessed to have all of the people that we reached out to get on board with sponsoring us in this, and it's going to be a really cool build.
So I know I've said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. Starting from the top down, we got some Leupold VX6 scopes, the HD, super nice. Zero lock turrets, super great. We got some Leupold rings for those as well. They're going on American Rifle Co. Their coup de grace, their lightweight action they just came out with, long actions. There's going to be they got a trigger hanger on those as well, which I'm super excited about, which we'll show in the build series, so we can adjust that trigger on there. But then we'll be putting Timney triggers on those, and then they're going to be bolted down into the MDT 126 chassis, which is, if you're watching this right now,
Super lightweight.
Oh, they're so cool.
one more time. It's so, dude, they're
They're going to be so badass.
I've built a
I'm
bunch.
actually really curious to see how much bark these guns are going to have for being so lightweight.
Right. Yeah. They're going to kick a little bit, but
We might be surprised. You know,
Chris will put brakes on them,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I never know.
Yeah.
are we planning on putting brakes on?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so I have the same guns that we're going to shoot, minus a different action in the shop, because I've built a couple of them already, and I love them.
What are we going to put on for brakes?
I have my own brake that we make. Cantrell
Okay.
Outdoors does. Yeah.
Nice.
So we have our own proprietary brake that we can put on, or I might put on the Nosler 30K can.
Ooh, yeah.
So the
Yeah.
K can's a short one.
So if you buy the Nosler specific brake,
Muzzle brake,
it's
yeah.
threaded, right?
Yeah, yeah.
For being able to put a can over the brake as well.
Yeah.
So it's easy on, easy off.
Yeah, so it's got a
Yeah.
thread protector on there. You could just spin the thread protector off
Yeah.
your brake, spin your can on. You know, so say for instance you were going somewhere you didn't want to bring your can or whatever, you could just have your brake still, and then take that thread protector off.
Right.
In like 10 seconds, you put a can on. It's pretty.
That
dope.
would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
We'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
yeah, it's gonna be pretty sweet.
Who
I'm
knows?
excited.
Most likely, I went with a 2-inch shorter barrel than you guys, so I'll probably run a can, that K can specifically, just because I already have one. So.
So you're doing the 22-inch barrel, right?
Right.
And then me and Doug are both doing 24s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll lose a little bit of speed, right? Because I have a shorter barrel. So at distance, your guys' guns will most likely outperform mine. You know, speed wise, shoot a little bit flatter, be a little bit more forgiving.
Nothing that we're not used to anyway.
I'm always last.
I don't think it'll matter.
No, I'm
Unless it's like 900 yards, you're probably not going to notice a huge difference.
no. I mean, you're at most you're 50 feet an inch, you know. So say like absolute max, you're 100 feet. Most likely it'll probably be like a 60 to 75 foot a second difference.
Yeah, I'm not going to be shooting far enough for you to even know the difference in our guns, probably.
Unless we actually push it.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless we decide that we're going to get serious and like push some 1,000-yard shots.
Yeah.
And
I just got $2,000 in reloading components this week for that too. So it's super cheap if you want to reload. that's just
you want to start saving some money?
That was just bullets and powder. That's not even.
Oh
I've
gosh.
already bought primers and brass and dyes and
Yeah.
everything else. But
Inflation's hitting hard in the shooting
the
industry.
old gun shop. It's not cheap
It's
to
not cheap.
squeeze the trigger.
And
No,
it's not much cheaper to reload these days anymore either.
no.
Is that just because
just
everything
barely.
is just more expensive, or is it because it got more popular and prices went up?
It's hard to say.
Or maybe both.
I think the components
I
are
know-
just more expensive.
Reloading used to be a thing that only like
Yeah.
a small group of people would actually do. And now it seems like everyone's like talking about wanting
It
to
is.
reload.
It's way more popular.
Yeah.
But I can like so say for instance like if you guys shoot, so you know you guys don't have reloading setups like I do, right? So even though I have a 22-inch barrel, I could get my gun to shoot faster than yours because I can go in there and I can mess around with my powders and you know I can do certain things to where I can get the max performance out of my gun. So I'll do load, like that's one of the things the shop offers is load development. So I go out and you know you work all these different you know I've 2 different types of brass, but different primers. Obviously, different powder is a big thing. Bullets, seating depth, neck tension, all of this goes into multiple different series of rounds. And then you go out and shoot it, and you go, oh, this is like they all look the same, and like this one shoots like dog shit, and this one shoots friggin' bug holes, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to do some load development. I don't know when I'm gonna have time to do that, but.
I know. That's why we're talking like maybe getting some good factory ammo to start out
Yeah.
and see where that goes. And
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
those
we'll
don't
see.
shoot good, then Chris
Yeah.
is going to have to do a lot more work.
It's going to be really expensive for you guys.
Pulling all-nighters.
Yeah. I don't know. Me and Doug could sit there on the press. I don't know.
I'll teach you boys how to reload.
We'll work out something.
Yeah. No, I think that's one of the things is like I have some like some Dillon 1050. So every time it's a turret style press. So every time you pull the lever down, everything spins around, you know, knocks your primer out, slaps your primer in, sizes your brass, you know, and it's very rough, rudimentary. Like you're making rounds, but they're not precision rounds. Like when I make a rifle round, I'll touch that piece of brass however many times, a bunch, right? Just a piece of brass. And everything is perfect. Neck tension is perfect. Seating depth is perfect. We're talking like there's not more than like a thousandths variance would probably be a lot, you know? So everything is super, super tight. And that's how you get low standard deviation. So everything is in like single digits. So every time you pull the trigger, the idea is even like say for instance, it pulls to the right. Like I'm just making this up, but let's say it pulls to the right. Well, every single round will be exactly the same. So they'll all pull to the right. So it'll still shoot a good group, right? So you just can't get that out of factory ammo. You know, you can't afford to touch a piece of brass, you know,
Right.
5, 6, 7 times. They just have huge machines. It's still good, you know. There's some factory ammo that's still really good, but lot of changes are different. You know, when you get lot 2.476 and then you shoot, you know, 2.675 and it shoots completely different, you know. I think that's a big misconception for people because guys will come in and be like, oh, they used to shoot this ammo great and now it shoots like shit. And I'm like, well, you know, toolings change, dies are different sizes, brass is different, you know, maybe tensile strength in the brass is different. It's not tempered. It's this, it's
Could be
that.
different powder.
Yeah, different powder. The powder mixtures change, you know, they're mining it from different sources, whatever, like
It's
the recipe
crazy.
changed.
How many different variances they can be.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it.
There's no doubt about it.
I think
Whole other realm.
getting into that world is like it can lead you down so many rabbit holes Because I feel like you probably just start out like, oh, I'm gonna reload a few shells, for my handgun or whatever.
Growing up, my dad had a couple shotgun reloaders in the room, and always go in there and just hammer out shotgun shells, because it was the same thing like you said. It was on the turntable,
Right.
And you're just basically putting a new shell on each time. You press the lever down, and they just keep popping out.
That's fun reloading when you can just like reload for shotgun. It's not.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to it.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
just
putting a primer and a wad and some lead in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like you don't ever pull the trigger on a shotgun and you get a squib and you're like, oh, I gotta go clear my barrel now. It's like it just peters out the end, So it's I would say getting into that's probably the funnest, because like you can't really make mistakes there.
Yeah. It does come a lot more tedious. I did notice that when I was reloading my 460 shells one by one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure they're all seated
right.
right.
You reloaded those super
They were
hot.
super hot. They were shooting all over the place.
So
I was like,
it's not as easy as it looks.
It's like
folks.
either my shooting at 50 yards with a revolver is not great, or these are way too hot.
Yeah. So, just a funny.
Well, it's funny too because I put a different round from a different manufacturer in my revolver. I was like, all right, let's see how this does. And I freaking almost bullseyed at 50 yards on my last shot. I'm like, I think it might be the ammo.
It's your reloads.
Yeah.
So funny story about that, about like handguns and being super inaccurate with them. So I had this plan that I was going to use my 30-30, Thompson Center handgun on this bear hunt, right? And so it comes up to...
You probably would have been fine.
I would have been fine. Oh, yeah.
Stand.
Yeah, but I was trying to shoot at 50 yards because I didn't know how far these shots were going to be, right? And I'm like, 50 yards, no problem. Like, it'll be fine with that. And I go, and it's got a scope on it and everything. And I'm trying to shoot it off of, I think I was shooting off of something, like with a rest. And I was like, just all over the place. And I'm shooting, and I hit on a 12-inch target. I think I hit like one off the target here on the right, one off on the left on the bottom,
right,
and then like 1 out of 5 shots actually hit the target. And I was like, you know what?
I'm gonna pack this up.
I'm like,
pull out the trusty old 308.
Not gonna happen. Nope, not doing it. And so I took my old 308, which I thought had sentimental value and stuff, and I thought I'd just take that gun. Which worked out great because if I would have tried to shoot that bear that I shot down on the reservation with that handgun, Doug, then we would have been in a hot mess express right away.
Like, I don't think we ever would have found the bear.
We would have never
scared it off.
Yeah,
would have been a well-educated bear.
Yeah, well, maybe all the bushes would have helped the bullet. I don't know.
Ping, 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 ping,
Ping, ping, ping, ping. Oh, got him. Yeah. So, needless to say, I'm not a great shot with a handgun.
It does take a lot of practice.
It's a lot of discipline with your hands, and like I don't know what the difference, because with a rifle, like I can throw up to my shoulder and I can shoot pretty good offhand, right?
Yeah.
But with a handgun, for some reason, it's just like it's the positioning, or maybe it's just the holding the weight in front or something.
And it's just muscle memory. You just shot a lot of rifles. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always been easier to shoot like an automatic compared to like a revolver style pistol too.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I've been pretty accurate with that 44 that I have. But I don't know, it just depends on the day too.
Yeah.
Some days I shoot great, some days I shoot like dog shit.
Yeah.
And
they
that's
come and go.
That's me with handguns.
It happens.
You just hope that you can, in the heat of the moment, you can make it count.
Yeah.
I'm pulling the trigger a lot of times if someone breaks into my house. I'll tell you that. Until it starts going click.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I had a guy call about a bear gun. Like, hey, what are you using for a bear gun? And I was like, I
For like a sidearm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got a couple guns I really like. I obviously got a gun just like Doug. I ordered him a gun like how long ago? A year ago.
It was like a year ago.
Did you actually order, or did you just put like a lookout for it?
So you like on certain, depending on where you're ordering from, like you put it on like your wish. It's like a back order. You don't pay for it right then. You know, they don't take your money, but like it's like, hey, I want this. So once it comes in, you get like first dibs, right?
Yeah.
So when it finally came in like a year later, they're like, hey, we finally got this in. And I'm
you're
like,
what gun?
I'm like, who is this?
You're like, is this a scam call?
And then I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. So they send it, and I was like, yeah, that's going. I'm gonna buy that.
Yeah.
And I was like,
You're like,
dang it.
That one's mine.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a 460 Smith & Wesson, but I got a 454. And so my reasoning was I could still shoot my 454s through it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's a nice little gun.
Yeah.
I mean, a nice big little gun.
Yeah. It's the Taurus Raging Hunter 460 Smith & Wesson. It's like the 5 1/8 inch barrel or something like that.
Which is just like a cannon.
It's gonna bark.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
5 1/4.
Yeah. I'm super excited to shoot it. But so I have that. I have my 8 3/8 454, which I love for bear. It's super heavy though. It's a pain to pack because it's a giant revolver. I have the ultralight Smith & Wesson 44 mag, which is great. Like in grizzly country because it's super, super light. I have like a D&D leather holster chest rig for it, which I really like. And it packs a punch. But I also have that Glock 40, which is a 6-inch 10 millimeter. And I can have, I bought it back the day before we got this ridiculous magazine rule here. But that holds 15, right? So if I have 15 rounds of 10 millimeter with the Buffalo Bore makes a monometal 180 grain bullet, which was made specifically for bears.
That's pretty good.
Dude, I can rip with that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can rip with my 454 pretty darn fast too and stay on target. But like, I only got 5 rounds in that 454, although I got some freaking horsepower in it. I'm like, there is something to be said to like having those extra shells.
The automatic.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's probably become one of the most popular grizzly bear country.
The 10 mil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the Glock. I see a lot of people rocking the Glock.
Yeah.
10 mils.
Well, I mean, you're taking a weapon out into the woods and you're beating the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're gonna hammer it and you're gonna be crawling through brush and
I was carrying my Colt 45 and it was getting painful to just take it out and beating it up like that.
Right. And then you got to bring them in. We got to clean all the rust
And
off.
then I went and spent even more money and bought Smith & Wesson 460.
there you go.
That was a beautiful gun, though. That was a
that
nice
one's
gun.
stainless though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good gun.
Stainless, you can do a lot more.
Yeah,
with.
that's perfect for
Yeah.
doing that kind of stuff.
I always would suggest going stainless on a revolver if you can, especially if you're going to be out.
It's such a
carrying it.
cool look too.
Classic.
Yeah.
I like it. I got the 44. It's a Colt Anaconda 44, and that's stainless too. That's just, dude, you don't have to worry about it getting all rusted, and if it's like drizzling out or something like that, you're not going to worry about having to get it
That's
cleaned off
that's the old one too, right? That's not the new model.
yeah,
Dude, those are so cool.
it's a cool gun.
Yeah.
I don't carry it very often, but
Yeah.
I like it. I carry it in grizzly bear country sometimes.
Yeah. I got that in 357, which I don't think it's an Anaconda. It's like a King Cobra or something, maybe. But it's a is it the no, it's a 6-inch gun, I think. But it's man, shoots freaking lights out. Super nice. And I have a couple 357s, but I don't carry a 357 for bear.
No, I mean in grizzly bear country, that's not.
It's not quite enough. That's more of like a home defense.
I mean,
Done
it'd obviously be better than nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's better than a 9
Better
millimeter.
than bear
Yeah.
mace.
Yeah.
Like if you're walking around carrying around a 9 mil in grizzly bear country,
Well, they say that like, there's a bunch of
it's still
different
better than nothing.
Yeah, a bunch of studies done like, like 9 millimeters kill more grizzly bears. And I'm like, probably because 9 millimeters is one of the most popular handguns in the world.
Yeah.
And
I
a
would
lot
imagine.
more people carry a 9 millimeter.
Yeah.
That's what they have.
And it's super easy to shoot.
And
They're
I'm
low
definitely
recoil.
taking something rather than nothing.
Yeah.
You know what? The best grizzly bear country gun is the gun that you have on you.
Yeah, no shit. No shit. It's better than a stick.
Yeah, it's better than a stick. It is better than bear mace.
Yeah. Yeah, pepper spray. Nothing like having
Pepper spray works better. It's like, I don't know. I think a 100-grain bullet, it probably hurts more than pepper spray.
Yeah.
Dude, no thanks for spicing. I'm not going to spice myself up for the bear. You know?
Right?
Like, I love hot sauce. Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Even if you were shooting like a little 380, I think you would probably deter a bear more than you would with
Dude,
pepper spray.
I would take a 22 over pepper spray, honestly. Like, I don't know. You see all the videos of the guys just tore to shit
Oh, yeah.
after they sprayed the bear. You know, it doesn't deter them.
Yeah, it's just pissing them off.
I think something that's loud, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, like even a 22, just I think the sound of it, you know, would probably deter them more. You know, I don't know.
I mean, we're not suggesting to
No,
anyone
don't
that you
do
carry any of those.
Not suggesting
rounds.
taking a 22 in
I like-
country, but
I like the Glock, the Glock Model 20 and the Glock Model 40. The 20 is a shorter barrel. The 40 is the longer barrel.
in the 10 millimeter.
In the 10 millimeter, I like a 44 mag and a revolver. I like shooting. I like shooting as big a gun as you're comfortable shooting. I shoot my 454 very well. It's a good gun, though. I'm not that great of a shot. It's just a really good gun, so it makes
Like,
it easy to shoot well.
If you're a 110-pound woman,
Yeah.
probably not going to shoot a 454 or 460. Like, shoot what the biggest gun that you're comfortable
Oh,
with.
talking to you, Tana Sufitti's talking some shit. Grundy, you better step up.
Let me rephrase that. Not every woman is
Yeah.
going to be able to shoot
Yeah.
that. There's some badass women that would
Some
be able
tough
to
broads
shoot.
out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
And
take what you're most comfortable with.
Yeah.
whatever you're good at shooting, like, it doesn't do you any good to have a gun that's big and powerful if you can't shoot it.
Yeah. Both my big guns, my 454 and my 460, are both ported, you know, so that helps with recoil. It's like having a brake on there.
Yeah.
You know, it just keeps the muzzle down. It
It'll-
shoots well.
It'll definitely make sure that you lose all your hearing afterwards too.
Dude, yeah, I'd rather be deaf than be dead. So,
All right.
you know,
Just make sure if you're sitting in a blind that you stick your barrel out the window. Because it's going to shoot about a foot-long flame out the
Yeah.
side of it.
We were talking about that when we were down bear hunting.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, make sure you stick that gun out the window there, Jim.
Yeah, I don't need a flame in my face.
Yeah. Catch the blind on fire.
Yeah.
dude, they
Guns
throw a
running the
flame,
camera.
dude, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wicked.
So, what are you guys going to take for your? So, you both are going to go for the opener or opening weekend. Mm-hmm. So, Doug, what are you taking?
I'll probably just take my trusty 306.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll probably take my 300 Ultra Mag. You know, it's already set up. My buddy made some really sweet 210 grain burgers for it.
That thing's a hammer,
So
Just make sure you're not shooting through brush like you usually
yeah,
dude.
yeah. You don't shoot
do.
through
Jim's
brush.
notorious
with the
for shooting
burgers.
through brush.
Yeah. Burgers.
Shoot him, he's going to blow out.
You know, I don't know if we've talked about that before, but I did shoot through brush one time with a burger bullet, and it didn't turn out well.
No, they. I think you need to like
They
back,
blow up.
Yeah, back to like the reloading thing,
Shrapnel.
right?
Yeah.
Like you get very intimate with every single piece of your bullet, right? Your brass and your primer and your powder and your bullet, and like I could tell you, obviously with the reloading and the shooting, that like you should like when you told I remember when James shot through brush, he's like, I don't know what happened. I'm like, what were you shooting? He's like, burger. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? You know? And
Yeah.
he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, dude, they're grenades. They're
Well, I
made
was-
to go in.
I was
They're made to
explaining to,
touch
you like
whatever and
what
blow
happened.
up.
Yeah.
I came back to Chris. I was like, dude, this is what happened. I've never had this happen to me before. I shot this bear through brush. Doug was there.
Yeah, and that's what I told him. I was like, your bullet probably exploded before he even hit the bear.
And,
Yeah.
But I've shot lots of bears through brush, right? But I just
with
so
the
happened.
good old Remington
Yeah.
core lock that doesn't fall apart.
Right.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
And then it so happened that year I decided to switch to the fancy burger bullets. I was
Right.
like, oh, I heard these bullets are great.
Yeah.
And they are for what you use them for. But then
Yeah.
I came back to Chris, and Chris was like, no, dude.
So that was
Yeah.
a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. So like you hear like the John Nosler story, right? When he went out and shoots the moose, and because he didn't have a bonded bullet. Like that's basically what burgers are, right? So they're made to blow up basically, right? They're like little bombs. So like if you hit a branch, that some bitch is gonna blow up. It's not getting to the, if it gets in the deer, it's like, or the bear, or whatever you're shooting
shrapnel.
at, dude, it's gonna be like shooting it with a shotgun, you know?
Yeah. Which is what happened.
Yeah. So if you're shooting like you're saying like a core locked or a partition or like a ELD, the ELDXs that will most likely be shooting on those 300 PRCs, like you can shoot through. I mean, it's still going to open up and it could deflect. And I don't ever say, shoot through brush, but those will do a lot better.
Right.
Its weight retention and not fall apart.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've shot through lots of brush many times with core locks or the partitions.
Yeah.
Nozzle partitions are great too. That one that I just shot down in the Quinault, I was using Winchester PowerPoints, dude. They're like, I'm like, this is what I used to shoot when I was young.
Right.
And I had a box and it was shot great. And I'm like, it'll do the job.
Yeah. Hey, it
180
works.
grain Winchester PowerPoints.
Yeah.
The cheap man's ammo.
Yeah. I think, especially in Western Washington, I'm very conscientious about the bullet type that I'm going to shoot, even if I think it's going to be open. If I'm like, there's a bunch of brush, you just can't take the shot because certain bullets are not going to,
You got to pick a spot that's open if you're going to be shooting.
And
predators.
you almost had like the perfect gun when we went over there for the spring hunt, the 4570.
Yeah, 4570.
That seems like
that was super fun.
Yeah.
That's a good brush gun. Like you could shoot that bullet through some brush.
And I cheated.
Put a red dot on it.
So there was, I can't remember the company. I think it's like Phoenix Tactical or something like that. Anyways, so I had a Henry lever action 4570, and they make a plate, an adapter plate for a loophole delta point, and I freaking love loophole delta points. I have more than a dozen of them, I'm sure. I have them on my handguns. I have one on my 470 Nitro Express. Like you can kick the shit out of them. I've never had one fail, knock on wood. But I, shooting iron sights, and don't get me wrong, some guys shoot iron sights fantastic, but the margin of error is very large in iron sights, right?
Especially when you're excited.
Yeah,
You're
like
sitting in a blind and you're aiming at a black target.
Yeah.
That doesn't work
Yeah.
too well.
Yeah.
so the red dot is just so much faster and cleaner and more accurate. And I was like, I'll just I'll throw a little modern in with the cowboy. And I took it to the range and shot that thing, and it shot freaking lights out. I mean, so good. And it's like, it's different. Like we've all messed around with the guns, like in the shop with the red dots. And when you pull them up, it takes, with the handgun, you have to practice with the red dot because it takes a little bit to get used to it, right? And with a rifle, it's that same, like it's that muscle memory. You're used to it. Cheek, weld, shoulder, everything's the same. So it's always there. And you can shoot that thing so fast, like so fast.
Yeah,
Like-
and
like-
it's super accurate too. Like,
Yeah.
it takes the guessing out of it.
Yeah.
Or like you said, the margin of error is a lot smaller with a red dot.
And the technology for those guns now for the bullets is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
How they've come out with bullets that are doing crazy ballistics.
Yeah, they're way hotter rounds
Yeah.
and, new metals and stronger chambers. And, for a straight wall cartridge, it freaking rips, dude. It's a hammer. So,
Yeah.
I mean, my dad shot his bear with he had a Henry 4570, and he did not have that plate on his. He was shooting iron sights, but his gun's in the gun shop right now waiting for one of those plates to come in, and I'm going to put
He's putting one on.
yeah, I'm putting
Nice.
a loophole delta point on there. So, yeah, it's going to be sweet.
You're gonna take that to Africa?
I don't know what he's going to do.
Really?
I'm taking,
Should
well,
be cool to shoot something in Africa.
I have to get those 300 PRCs built because I really want to take that, and then I'll take my 470 Nitro Express with that loophole
Yeah.
delta point on there. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, that'll do the job.
That gun's a freaking hammer. The more, like, I still remember. So the first time I ever shot it was in the movie that we did, and which
a
was
bear hunter's life.
A Bear Hunter's Life, which was awesome, right? But it surprised me because, like, I'm down on a bench, like, leaned into it. Long story short, I mean, I'm a big guy, but still, it kicked the shit out of me. And I was like, whoa, geez, like, this thing's...
It woke you up.
Yeah, like, shooting 500 gram bullets out of it,
Yeah.
it's got some pop to it. And I'm like, okay. But when you stand up and shoot it, like, you just kind of rock with it a little bit,
Right.
Dude, it shoots so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got 2 triggers, right? So you got to practice between the 2 triggers, like bang, bang, but
Yeah.
it's,
That would take some getting used to if you hadn't done it.
yeah, it's so much fun to shoot.
Yeah.
And it shoots very, very well. I mean, you got,
It's just a big gun.
dude, you got 2 rounds, you got 1,000 grains, dude.
That's crazy.
Make it count.
Yeah. You got to mess some stuff up.
Yeah, if you hit something good, it's going down immediately.
Which Chris did.
Yeah.
In
Alberta.
And I think next year, well, we'll see. I don't know. I love that gun though. Like I would take that gun to the Quinault in a heartbeat.
Right. We talked about it. But
Yeah.
Like, oh, I got this
45-70.
I have all these guns that I
have all these guns.
barely ever shot.
Yeah. It's a tough thing when you get a lot of guns,
I know. You got to pick and
So
choose.
many choices.
I don't know about you guys, but do you ever feel like when you take another gun or a new gun, like you're leaving your old guns
You feel
behind,
bad.
you kind of feel bad, like
you're
Yeah.
cheating on her.
like
Yeah.
like you're on having an affair.
Yeah.
Like you're like, I'm sorry, girl. It's just that there's not enough time for
I got
everybody.
this urge.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Try something new.
it's like being, or is it the Mormons that have all the wives, or what? Is
Oh
it?
yeah.
Oh,
I do feel like that sometimes when I walk in and all my guns are lined up and I'm looking at them and I feel like they're going, pick me, pick me.
Yeah, right. Dude, every time there's like a coyote in the yard or something, I'm just like, I run in. I'm like, I don't know who to choose. It's so funny.
Yeah, that's a good
Guys
problem.
and their guns,
Yeah,
and
it's
I don't know why. Almost all my guns, I just think of them all as ladies. Do you think of that?
They're
Like,
all ladies.
all of them are.
Yeah.
What about you, Doug?
I don't know.
Doug's like,
Just a piece of
mine
steel.
are non-binary.
Yeah. I've never grabbed my shot and go, let's go, Steve.
No, come on, bud.
Yeah. Although I don't.
Well, I mean, it would be trendy if it was that was the
Yeah.
case.
We are in Washington.
Yeah.
We are in Washington. I don't name them though.
No, I don't name them either.
I did that one time.
I kind of have named my old 308 just Old Faithful,
Yeah.
but like I haven't named any of them like a real name.
Yeah.
I think we all have that Old Faithful.
I
Although
think
my Old
everyone has
Faithful
to
is
have an
gone.
Old Faithful, right?
Yeah.
What was your Old Faithful? Was that your 260 when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I don't know where that thing ended
rest
up.
in peace. Rest in peace.
Probably some
Probably
crackhead
a
has
rust,
it.
probably a rust bucket by now.
Probably sitting in some crackhead's closet somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I think who did we sold it to? I thought we sold it to your dad
No,
for Devin or for no.
no, because we have a that was a youth model 243,
No, who did it go
which
to?
I have, by the way.
I went to somebody in the family. I can't remember.
Anyways,
Legally with a background transfer.
yeah. This was all
this
like,
was like.
dude, decades ago.
I mean, I outgrew the gun. I mean, if I mounted that gun, and the scope would probably be like right up to my eyeball.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it was a youth rifle.
Mm.
Yeah, I have that youth model 243 that was David's first gun, and then my dad had it and he gave it to me. And when you put it up, dude, it's like,
Yeah, it's so short you can't
dude,
even shoot it.
I could still shoot it. I mean, if I want to, I'm just like,
Uh,
you know,
Need to put like a 3-inch extension on the butt.
yeah,
Part of it?
Yeah, but it's going to my kids. So,
Oh, yeah.
like, it's that's Easton's gun. Alexia, she has a 308, that Bergara. It's a Bergara 308 that I had.
Oh yeah,
That I bought, and it's a good gun, but that's her gun. So,
nice.
I know it's a little
fancy.
it's a little out there to have that be a first gun for a young girl,
Yeah.
but she likes that gun more than she likes that little 243. So
I can never be too much.
yeah,
I mean, did you have one of those break action shotguns that kicked the shit out of you?
yeah, dude, I had a double barrel, double trigger, 12 gauge.
What?
I had that.
Yeah.
I had that single barrel 12 gauge. That was my first shotgun.
Oh
And
yeah,
that thing kicked the shit out of me. I think I was like 9 years old.
It was
when I
like,
shot that.
like the old H&R break action,
Yes.
like wood, no recoil pad on it.
no recoil pad.
Oh,
Yeah.
classic
dude,
too.
we
Yeah.
were. So I had that break action double barrel, double trigger. Right, it was old. I didn't even remember where I got it from, but it was someone
Probably
in the
like
family
Uncle
or
Jim's
something.
gun or
Yeah,
something.
probably. And dude, we were so dumb. Like we were so dumb when we were young, and it only took 2 3/4, but you could load a 3-inch shell in it, right? So we were shooting.
If you really, really pushed hard.
Oh yeah, but so we were loading 3-inch shells in that thing,
Oh, jeez.
and then we were letting both triggers off at the same time, like on flocks of snow geese, just like, and just like hammered, and we ended up breaking the stock eventually over time. It was like an antique,
Dude.
but
Classic.
dude, we were so dumb when we were young. Like looking back, I'm like, why would we ever do that? Who was watching us? Like, why were we shooting 3-inch shells through a 2 3/4 holy gun?
I remember shooting 22 longs out of a 22 mag.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Then and you don't know any better when you're a kid,
Right.
Just wanted like, I'm gonna sneak out and shoot this guy.
Yeah, it's a 22, right?
Oh no, it's the shell stuck in here. What's going on?
To be young and dumb.
Oh,
stuff.
dude.
I mean, I feel like every kid goes through a learning period where they do a lot of dumb stuff when they're teenagers. And that's just like the rite of passage, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't want your kids to do it. Like, you're always like, I'm going to save you the trouble. I'm going to tell you shouldn't do these things so
Right.
that you listen. You don't have to learn the way I did.
Yeah.
But we all know that that's not even going to happen. Like, they're going to do the dumb stuff.
100%.
James is living that.
Yeah.
Dude.
I mean, I got kids now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that, like, no matter how many times I say, you shouldn't do this one thing or this other thing because it's
As soon as you tell them not to do it, they're
Right.
going to do it.
And then I'm like, I always tell my kids, I'm telling you this so that you don't have to learn the way I learned it, which is the hard way, which
Right.
is how you're going to learn it if you do it. And then they do it anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn it. I guess it's just part of being, like, it's part of the process.
Yeah.
I remember I was on the phone with you one time, and you're like, Easton, don't do it. No, you're doing it. You're in the midst of telling them not to do it. You just started doing it.
Yep. It's
They have to learn for themselves.
especially if their last
Sometimes
name
you
says
gotta-
Forsland, you have to learn the hardware way all the time.
Dude.
You can't go the easy route ever. 'Cause that's just not acceptable.
It's not the Forsland way.
That's right.
I thought I could talk that boy into some sense, and he's like, I was like, I'm good. I'm really good at, like, I negotiate all day, every day, right? 7-year-old, no problem. Dude, not a chance. I'm like, I make these great points, and he's just like, guess what? Nope. See ya. I'm like, all right, good talk.
Yep.
Okay.
Guess what? Fart noise.
Yeah, right.
I'm out.
Like a perfect example of that. This is my last story about kid stuff. We're at 4th of July. We're at the campground, right? Mm-hmm. And they have this BMX bike track. And Easton's like, Dad, I want to go ride BMX. Like, I want to go on the bike track. And I'm like, all right. And he's never ridden on a bike track on jumps or anything. He's done like little ramps at the house that he builds, right? And he gets out there, and I'm like trying to explain to him, like, hey, man, these are the turns. Like, you don't go over the turns, like the big, huge berms. And these are the jumps. Just be careful. Before I can even, like, explain anything to him, he's already gone on the trail. And he's just sending it full speed. And he's going over all these jumps and stuff. And he's coming flying up on this berm. And I'm standing there. I'm going, that's a turn. Don't. He just, like, goes off the berm, just jumps it off the berm. Into the gravel, lands flat, just like he's got shorts on and a tank
himself.
top. Oh yeah, he is just ground like a piece of old hamburger, dude. It's just like knees skin, elbow skin, everything, and he's like, "Ah!" And I'm like, dude, I told you not to do that. I just turned. Yeah,
Not a jump.
and then he says to me, I hate BMX. And I'm just like, no, you don't, dude. You just think that right now. And it was literally like less than 5 minutes later. Dad, can we go ride BMX again? I'm like, yep, we can go do it again. I had to like grab his handlebars and straighten him out.
I love those days.
Yeah, they just, especially boys, dude, they got to learn the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
It's in our DNA.
That's right. Just like when you're doing a project at home and you're like, I can do this, and then you try doing it, and then you break something, and you're like, damn it, and then you have to learn the hard way.
And you're just in it to win it.
That's right.
So before we wrap this podcast up, let's talk about some current events that have been going on that Jim brought up that sounded very interesting.
So I don't know if any of you folks out there got the same email that me and Chris and Doug got today from the Department of Fish and Wildlife for Washington anyway. And what did that email say? I mean, you got it, Chris. What did it say? And then I'll explain to you what I know.
And it was like, hey, Washington State resident who applied for, one of these special permits, we may have made a mistake type of deal. I could read it verbatim, but that's not as fun because I've had a few beers. So, and I was like, that's interesting, But to be fair, I think, the point system and the draws are not run by our horrible commission who lies and steals and cheats. This is like a computer. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. The computer system, right? Because the computers didn't do anything
ran
wrong.
From a third party, apparently.
So
allegedly.
there was some sort of mix up, something, a computer error. I don't know. Everything's AI now. I don't know how you could make an error nowadays. But we got an email saying, hey,
I'm looking at the email right now. There were 723 hunt applicants not initially selected in the June 12th draw that should have been selected. And then there were 738 hunt applicants who were incorrectly selected and told by the WDFW that they received a special permit after the June 12th draw. So good job.
So, I mean, let's think about that. That's a lot of tags. So the way I understand it,
1,400.
it was 1,400 tags that they messed up on.
Yeah.
1,400.
That's weird that they don't balance out.
Special permit tags, and if you know much about the Washington special draws, there is not a ton of tags to begin with. So 1,400 tags is, I don't know what the math is on that, but it sounds like it's like over half of the actual tags.
How do you
for the
fix that
state
at this point?
So it gets worse, right?
It gets worse.
It gets way worse.
Buckle up.
So not only did people who were supposed to be selected not get selected, but people who did get selected got selected for wrong permits. Mm-hmm. And some people got selected for permits that they didn't even apply for.
Yeah.
So like units, like, oh, I got drawn for a unit I didn't even apply for.
Right.
Okay, I guess that sounds good. And the craziest thing about it all is that they have to try to figure out how to deal with this huge mess, but they decided that they're not going to redraw. So how are they going to write if the entire system is complete dog shit and it all just made up all these fake things and people who were supposed to draw didn't draw and people who did draw drew the wrong tags and then some people drew the wrong choices for some of the tags that they got. Like they were actually drawn for their second choice, but then they got their fourth choice or their fourth choice and their second choice. It just seems like it's a huge mess of dog shit.
How do you fix that?
I like how they say at the end, as hard as it is to implement these corrections, we know that the hunting community expects and deserves an accurate draw that operates within the stated rules that we've indicated. The department is working diligently with the software vendor, which now they're just blaming it on the software vendor, to ensure that this never happens again. Oh, really? We have also investigated past year's data, and there is no evidence this error has occurred in the past. And then, as their final statement, it says, we know this is frustrating situation, confusing, and we're here to help. For questions, not answers to your license profile, blah, blah, blah. So they don't really tell you much. Other than, oh, we're sorry that this happened.
They did say that they're not going to redraw, though.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do with all these tags? The people that were supposed to draw, that did draw, they don't get their tags?
I'd like to redraw our
or
commission.
will they ever know?
Yeah.
Redraw.
So
Maybe
I'm
we'll
not
get lucky
sure
on
how
a
they're going
second
to. I
tag.
do know that emails were sent to people that drew tags saying, oh, sorry, you don't get that tag. We're not giving you that tag. You can't have that tag. So think about that for a second. Think about, and this was like just some people that I know personally. got that email like, hey,
I'd
you
be
don't
so
get your
mad.
tag. Imagine if you drew your oil tag and you're like, you hired an outfitter. Say you spent $6,000 already on an outfitter for your oil tag. How pissed would you be?
I didn't get drawn for anything. I'm already pissed.
I know, me
Right?
too.
I got 2 decades of points.
So,
just
like-
going to hell.
How are they gonna write that? Imagine you got Joe Schmo. He drew
don't
his
know.
once in a lifetime goat tag. He hired an outfitter.
Yeah.
He paid $6,000 up front.
You would hope that you went out and bought your tag
Yeah.
already.
How
Before
soon
they-
can you buy your tag?
Yeah, before they revoke it.
Right.
I
It
think,
sounds like lawsuit central.
well, as we all know
They're
from the
already in
last
trouble.
Supreme Court lawsuit, like what a joke the Supreme Court is here. By the way, like they argue about the meaning of words. Like, does yes really mean yes, or does it mean purple? You know, back in 1868, you know, fart versus smeller. This says this, and you're just like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
this the word yes means yes, no means no. Like
Yeah.
this is how things work, and they argue over like the validity of a word. It's so holy shit. It's
Mind blowing.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's super frustrating. So
Just a waste of time.
it's a huge waste of time. It's
So,
a huge waste of our money too.
We
by the way,
don't know how this is going to pan out. I haven't even checked to see if maybe I did draw something. I don't know. That would be awesome. And then I'd be like, everything's right with the world. I got
Yeah.
a moose tag and a
I'm
quality deer
happy
tag.
now. Good job.
It's so funny. So Cliff brings it up. So we're sitting in my office, and we're the gun shop's finally getting some stuff on Gunbroker, right? So we're trying to like both of us monkeys are like, you know, on the computer, and he's like, oh, dude, did you get the Fish and Game email? I'm like, no, what are you talking about? And so then I tried to log in. I couldn't log in because I'm guessing everybody's logging in at the same time.
I couldn't either.
And so I finally log in, and I was kind of embarrassed because like Cliff's sitting there, right? And he sees my Fish and Game page, and the whole thing is just great. And I mean, I had to scroll down because you know how I put in for everything, literally everything.
Right.
And this is like not selected, not selected, not selected, not selected, not selected, not selected. And it keeps going. And he's like, Jesus, man, like you put in for a lot of stuff. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you didn't get drawn for shit.
You did get
And I'm like,
You're just like sucking his hopes and dreams out of him
I'm
as
like,
you're talking to him.
Yeah.
yeah, Cliff, I know I didn't get drawn for anything. Thanks for pointing that out. You're lucky you're 6'8" and 300 pounds. You jerk.
And he's probably thinking, man, why should I be putting in for anything?
Yeah, dude.
Because
Yeah.
we're like racked up with points and everything. Yeah, so, man, what a mess though. I mean, the most embarrassing part of it all is they go through the system that's immediate. It's AI, right?
Right.
It runs it. It's like, boom, there's the tags. Then they have a 3-week period where they get to dissect it, look at it, make sure everything's correct and balanced, and they still f it up.
Dude.
Like, how embarrassing is that? How do you guys go 3 weeks picking through it?
They even had a delayed draw too.
Yeah, they delayed the draw by what, like a week
A
or
couple
something
weeks.
like that?
Yeah.
I think we probably have one of the most embarrassing Fish and Game commissions on the planet right now. So having the rest of the department trying to catch up, you know, they're going to have to do a little bit more than mess up one draw, you know.
Well, obviously,
Big
like,
shoes to fill.
This third party that they use for whatever it is, like, sorry, like I'd be done with them completely. Like, you guys messed up royally.
It's probably the
and then you guys didn't catch it.
It's probably the same company that did the last election.
I think it's the same company that does the Washington State Lottery. Maybe that's why you never get that.
Dude, yeah.
That's why we never win.
They could tell whenever I buy a ticket, they're like, nope.
They're like, yeah, this guy again.
Instant
Yeah.
wrong numbers. Every single one.
Yeah, here, just hit the switch button. Switch.
Never gonna win anything there, buddy.
Well, I will tell you this. I'm really excited to get in the woods for bear
Me too.
season. I still don't know which gun I'm going to bring. I really hope that our builds come together and I get some range time because you need some range time.
I'd
But
be excited for that too.
I'm super excited for that. I will bring it to South Africa. So I got, a couple hundred rounds I got to get through it before then. But hopefully I can get them up, time away from work and then up in the woods to catch up with you guys, because I'm sucking hind teat right now as far as our bear count goes. So
It's okay.
yeah,
We're gonna put down some bears this year for sure.
yeah.
We got so many hunts planned. I'm planning on killing 2 bears
You
this
got
year.
more bears than me, Chris.
It's
So
not
don't feel bad.
It's not a competition, Doug. Hey, at least you didn't have to pay much money to not shoot a bear this spring. You could have bought a nice used Volkswagen Beetle for the price I paid.
Oh man.
Well, when you go all in on the giant of
yeah.
the woods, sometimes you walk away with nothing.
You don't get that,
Well, you have this sickness called the taxidermy problem,
dude. I do.
and you got this one hole to fill in your bear wall, and you got
It's very specific.
something set in your mind
Yeah,
where I'm not taking a little bear.
I know. It needs to be a big bear.
Yeah, we'll get big bear. We'll get him.
I know Brandon's got 2. He's got 2 bobcats he's mounting. I want to say he just posted a raccoon. I don't know if it's mine or not.
I was wondering about
Yeah, because I trapped a big old coon last year. It was a dandy.
It looked like it was on like a stick or something.
Yeah.
Is it going to go in the exhibit? Or
Yeah,
something?
100%.
Nice.
And so I'm going to start stuffing stuff in there. So I got 2 bobcats, that raccoon, depending on what John Hayes does with my I don't know what he's doing with my bobcat. No idea. But he's got a bobcat of mine. And then I could maybe I think I could squeeze 2 more bears in there. I think, because we got 4 bears in there right now.
Yeah,
I think it could hold 6 bears. Maybe 7.
maybe 7.
Oh,
You just need one little small one.
It's itty bitty.
Little itty bitty bear.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's going to be cool when it's done.
Yeah, John has 3 bears of mine right now.
Does it really?
Yeah, so he's got 2 backpack mounts that I think they're working on right now, or maybe they're already done. I'm not sure.
I'm not going to lie. I like a backpack mount.
Yeah, so he does really good pack frame mounts. I think he did one of them. I asked him to do one of them with like a dead eye. I don't remember if he did or didn't do it. But some of the bears, he does like these special eyes that look like they're almost like
Right.
a little foggy.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like it's been dead for a little bit.
Yeah.
And they looked super cool. He does those with the deer too, like the kind of smoky color,
Right.
like it's been dead for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. But
Interesting.
2 pack frame mounts and then 1 shoulder mount, which I've never done a shoulder mount. I've done only half bodies.
Right.
So it's going to be like at the shoulder blade, kind of like a what do they call it? Like a pedestal, almost like a pedestal kind
Yeah.
of. But yeah, right at the shoulder blade.
I've never done anything but a life size, so I don't know.
I know you have no half bodies. I have
I have a rug
a bunch of half bodies.
that was supposed to be a life size. That was back when Blaine was doing our taxidermy.
Oh yeah.
And I showed up, I'm like, "Where's my bear?" And he's like, it was rolled up, and he hands it to me, and I'm like, "What?"
You're like, "Where did
He's
this
like,
go
"Here it
like
is."
this?"
I'm like, "This was supposed to be a life size, dude." And he's like, "Well, I'll give you a discount." And I'm like,
Is that the rug that's in the
that's the
gun shop?
rug in the gun shop when you walk in, yeah. Because it had a big white blaze
Oh,
on
yeah?
its chest, right? And I was like, dude, it's gonna be so sick. And I picked out the mold and like the form, you know, in the rock and the whole classic, but it was gonna look just like that one.
Yeah.
You know? And
The good old
yeah,
the good
Blaine
old
Thornton
mount. Yeah.
classic pose. Nyeh.
I have that same exact
Same exact mount,
same
yeah.
form, everything.
Yeah, dude.
Probably the exact same form. It's almost the same size bear too.
So funny. Same shitty paint job on the rocks.
Well, actually, he did like this whole thing. It's not even on it now. I took it off, but it's the same exact, like same exact form. But he had this whole big. It was giant though. It was like 8 feet by like 5 feet thing that he made, and it was like a bunch of dirt and like all
Right.
kinds of stuff right in a stump. And the bear was like propped up on it. I'm like, I can't tote this around anymore. Like, where am I gonna put this? It's like like 8 feet long.
Right.
Like,
You
there's
need a
no-
whole room just to put it in.
Yeah. So I ended up eventually just taking it off, and I saved the rock that he was standing on, right? So I can just put him wherever.
Like as big as my elk and wolf mount over there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the same size.
Right. And I have a life-size elk and a
extra
life-size
large.
wolf fight each other.
Yeah.
Extra large.
That's funny.
Well, before we wrap this up, let's give a good shout out to our sponsors. Loopold has been an excellent sponsor from the get-go.
Yeah.
We
Good.
got a lot of good products from them. Awesome customer service.
That's right.
Good people there.
Good warranty too.
Yeah.
Great warranty.
We got also Montana Knife Company. We have been with them for a long time too.
Since the beginning.
Since the
2001.
beginning, yeah. And we have some new sponsors as well.
Yeah. MDT. So I've worked with them in the gun shop for quite some time. I have a bunch of custom guns that I had built just like for shop builds, and I was like, oh, I'll try, like the 126, and I tried a couple of their other chassis, and I had showed you guys like some of the stuff. I was like, hey, James was like, yes, let's call them now.
Right now.
And luckily we were able to partner with them, and I'm going to build some freaking sweet guns with those. And and back to the gun shop, Timney triggers, fantastic triggers. Really excited about that. I've used them. I put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of their triggers in the guns.
Everybody knows Timney triggers.
I've never had one fail.
Yeah.
Never had one fail. I know that.
Tried and true.
You make enough of one thing, something's going to happen eventually. But at the same time, like, great people, incredible customer service,
Great products.
great products. Speaking of good people, the guys at and gals at Caribou Gear, those are some good. Like, I would probably, never even met them. Like, only talked to them on the phone and email. I don't know if they drink, but I'd have a beer with those guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and gals.
Yeah. We go back and forth every once in a while on the social medias.
Yeah, they're good people.
Yeah.
Hunters.
Yep.
Freaking game bags are freaking so good.
Yeah.
So good.
If you haven't looked into them, we have a discount code for Caribou Gear that's BCO10.
I think so.
Yeah, BCO10, I believe.
You probably asking the wrong guy.
Yeah.
We have a bunch. We have a bunch
look
of
at me.
codes in our link tree, right?
Go check our link tree on Instagram.
Yeah.
All of our discount codes are on there. We have one for Caribou Gear. We have one for American Rifle Co. And then we have one for Numa.
Oh, the American Rifle Co. actions that we have, which are freaking sweet. I haven't got to shoot them yet, but you get to play around with them and look at them and touch them and examine. And we're talking about, so it's not to get into the weeds, but the fat bolt design. Super excited about it. Very nice machining. Excited about that.
Yeah.
So
That's one of the most exciting components that we have is the
the new
American
action.
Rifle
matched
Co.
up with a
Coup de grace.
benchmark barrel.
Yeah. So we had Ron on the podcast. Super great guy. Really good. They're literally like 5 minutes from the shop here. So it's super nice to have like a company like that with that type of people. Like, their personnel is fantastic. Like, everyone, like, they're machine shop guys, the front desk people, like everyone across. I've never met anyone at Benchmark that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Which is saying something.
And you can actually get like real customer service you can talk to someone, not a random person in another country. You're talking to someone here in
Pretty
the US
nice.
that's working hard.
Yeah.
And then who are we missing?
Numa.
Oh, yeah.
And Numa, who we
And
just
Numa.
partnered with.
Yeah.
We just partnered with Numa, and we're really excited about running their gear.
Yeah, they got some new stuff this year that we're really looking forward to testing out.
Their underlayer system, it's the bee's knees. The wool, or not wool, it's
merino wool.
yeah, it's merino wool. That's
Yeah.
right.
It's crazy you can wear that stuff, and like, I'm not saying I'm a stinky guy, but like, after a couple days in the field of hiking, like, I sweat a lot. It's amazing that stuff doesn't stink.
I know.
Blows my mind.
That was if you watch our new film that Doug's working on right now, you'll see me wearing some of their underlayer stuff.
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
a
they have
lot of
like,
it.
and they have like this scent crusher or something
Yeah.
or other. I don't even know.
There's some scent,
some
killing
scent technology
Yeah.
that they basically incorporate into the fabric somehow. And
Which, if you're a big dude and you hike a lot and you sweat a lot, pro tip.
You're gonna need it,
Yeah.
yep.
especially
And
if you're hunting predators.
we'll be using the all-in phone adapter systems for our loophole spotters.
Oh yeah,
and
I'm excited about
binos.
that. Yeah.
So I'm excited to put those to use this year and get some footage
Yeah.
through the spotters.
Quick side note on that: I just took that trip to Montana with the family, and Loophole just came out with the Gen 2 BX4s, their binos, and they're like, dude, they're tiny. They're itty bitty tiny. They're 10 by 42s, but they're super lightweight.
Super lightweight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
I took them on my hike that I went on.
They're so freaking clear.
They're nicer than the Gen 1s because they have that little thumb crease right where you
Yeah.
hold on to it. It gives
Yeah.
you a little,
And they're really light, like
Yeah,
you're
they're
saying.
light.
Did you guys see the little post on Facebook I did when we were looking at deer? And so like, dude, there was bunches and bunches. So I would hand it from like Dawn, my wife, to Gloria, my kiddo, in the back, and then she'd hand it to me in the front seat. And so we're just stopped in the middle of the road in BFE, Montana, and like looking at all these bucks. And I'm like, oh, that's a good one right there. You know?
you're like, Gloria, that's a nice one.
And it was because they could grab them
Right.
and adjust them and zoom in, and it was like the whole family could use them. You know, I
Yeah.
got a big fat head, I got a little tiny kid, I got a regular sized wife, and like, so it was pretty cool.
That
yeah,
is
big
cool.
fan.
And I think we've got everyone covered, don't we?
I think so. I mean, there's so many. Don't want to miss any of them.
We're just really happy and blessed that we have all these awesome sponsors and people that believe in our company and what we're doing. And
Yeah,
so thank you.
and thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the show. That's a good time.
Yeah.
We have a blast.
Yep.
So, until next time, stay humble and hunt hard.